Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to a live Vlogmas. A live Vlogmas as we are continuing to do our Vlogmas 2025, and we're doing it live across both YouTube and Facebook. I'm just checking to make sure that we are good live so that we can share our camera gear. Always excited to be sharing with you each and every time I come live. And tonight is just a little bit different. So I have been doing Vlogmas since the beginning of December. And that is where we upload a video to our YouTube channel every single day. And I'm happy to say that I have been consistent and I have uploaded every single day with the exception of today because we are doing a live. And so I'm just going to my Facebook page to make sure that you all are able to see me live on YouTube as well as on Facebook. So just bear with me real quick as I go to my Facebook page to make sure that I am live, and I am live. And so that's exciting to know that everything is working well. But tonight we're going to be talking about our camera gear. So all week so far on YouTube, I've been encouraging 40 plus and Gen Xers to get into content creation. And I've been sharing various videos to encourage, to inspire, to motivate those Gen Xers who've been thinking about getting into content creation, who've been thinking about starting their YouTube channel, encouraging you that now is the time, 40 and over. Now is the time for you to launch. Now's the time for you to get into content creation, whether that means to launch your YouTube channel or get into UGC, which I recently got into user generated content for Gen Xers 40 plus, or if that means you just getting into content creation to market and promote your business. So as you come into the space, ask your questions, type in your comments. Tonight, I'm just simply going to share the various type of camera gear that I use. And this is important because as you mature in content creation, as you go along your journey, you will want to invest in yourself and upgrade. But I was listening to a podcast today where a young lady who has a multi-million-dollar business, and the only thing that she uses is, she says, her scratched up iPhone. And what's great about that is that you can simply just start with your phone. All of our phones today have quality cameras on them, and whether that's an iPhone or Android, and you can use your phone to shoot your content. You can use your phone to create your entire business if that's what you desire to do. And a lot of times we have a tendency to get caught up in wanting to have the best equipment, wanting to have the latest and the greatest, and really all you need is this phone. Now, I have an iPhone, you might have an Android, but that's all you need. And typically, when you're using your phone, you just want to make sure that you have enough space on your phone to be able to hold that content long enough for you to be able to edit. And so if you're just joining, we're talking about camera gear that I use to record content and to be able to share that content across multiple platforms in order to run an online based business, to build your personal brand, to market yourself, to share your services and your products for your business. And so the first thing I would share with you is that you can always start with your phone, which for many years, all I used was my phone. And I would use my phone to do travel content, use my phone to go live, use my phone to record any type of content that I wanted, because cameras on phones today are great. 4K on camera phones today. Now, when you're using your phone, I recommend that you always use the back camera of your phone. Always use the back camera because it's much better than your front camera. And when we say front camera, we're talking about the camera that's here versus the back camera, which is here. The back camera always has higher quality when it comes to recording content via your phone. And so your phone is a content generating machine that if you just want to use your phone, it is enough to accomplish the goal of creating content, creating shorts, creating long form. The only limitation to your phone is that you always want to make sure you have your notifications turned off when you're recording via your phone. And then you always want to make sure you have enough space on your phone when you're recording content. And the practice that you really need to have is that as soon as you shoot that content, you want to pull that content off your phone so that you're not using up too much space on your phone and you get to the situation where you're ready to record content and then you don't have enough storage space on your phone to record content. And so one of the reasons why I no longer use my phone is for that specific purpose, to make sure that I have plenty of storage space. And so the next investment that I made after I graduated from my phone was that I started using what's called mirrorless cameras, and I use the Sony ZV-E10, which is considered to be a mirrorless camera. That's what I'm using right now to go live. I have two of these mirrorless cameras. This was the second investment that I made when it came to content creation. And I invested in this level of a camera because I started a podcast. And this is the older model of the ZV-E10. I believe they have the ZV-E10 II now. But I invested in that style of camera for my podcast content. I wanted to make sure that I had the highest quality possible for my podcast. And mirrorless cameras are really good because they are more on the professional grade end. And especially also it's mirrorless, but you also have this pull out so that you can see yourself when you're recording your content. And you can buy multiple types of lenses for this camera. This is a larger lens, but the camera came with a kit lens, which is much smaller. We consider that to be more of a pancake lens. Let me make sure that I'm in focus here. Now, when it comes to these mirrorless cameras, when it comes to these type of cameras, you can always have them in autofocus. And then that way you don't have to worry about manually focusing the camera. And you just get higher quality. And so that camera, similar to the iPhone, similar to the phone, that camera shoots up to 4K 30. Your iPhone can shoot up to, I think, 4K 60, even maybe 120. And so I decided to graduate up to a mirrorless camera just for the purposes of my podcast and then also for storage. Now, when it comes to storage, you're able to buy the extra storage or the external storage that goes in the bottom of your camera. And you can buy anywhere up to 500 gigs to a terabyte worth of storage for these type of mirrorless cameras. Whereas on your phone, you really, the storage you have is the storage you have pretty much. And so you want to make sure that if you're doing content on your phone, I would recommend that you get the highest amount of storage if you know that you're going to be shooting content. Now, I have a second phone that if I decide to shoot content, then I will use my other phone, iPhone, to shoot that content and not use my personal phone. So far, I started out, and this is why it's important for me to go through this. When I started out, all I had was the phone. When I started out, all I had was the phone, and this is what I shoot my content on. As time went on in the business, I started the podcast. Then I graduated to a mirrorless camera. This is the Sony ZV-E10, a mirrorless camera. And I bought maybe 2 lenses for that camera in order to have my podcast. And I love this camera because once I take the lens off and I put the kit lens on, it's still very portable. I'm all about portability. Look how small this camera is without the lens. Very small camera, shoots very high quality. If you have any questions, be sure to put those questions in the comments, and I'll be able to see your questions, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook. So make sure that you put your questions in the comments. Now, as time went on, I got a little bit more tech savvy, and I decided to invest in some other type of gear for the purpose of travel, portability. I started to get into vlogging. And so the next camera I'll share with you is by far the one that I use the most today. The one that I use the most today is my DJI Osmo Pocket 3. I love this camera because it's very portable. It shoots up to 4K 60, as well as it shoots in D-Log, which is a colorless video where you can add your color to it later. But this has been a game changer for me because it's so portable, and the actual camera itself is very small. This is the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. You can find these camera equipment in my Amazon link. All you have to do is click the link, those of you who are on YouTube. And this comes with an external battery that you click to the bottom, and you just hold it like this. You flip it out, and let me tell you, this right here has been a game changer when it comes to creating content. And so I love this camera. I take this camera with me everywhere I go. Everywhere I go, I take this camera. It's the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. Now, they did create a competitor to the DJI. I think it's called I forget. It's exact same camera. It's called the Extra Muse. The Extra Muse. Exact same camera. However, people were not finding the DJI because they were selling crazy. And I've had this camera now 2 years as of this month. I think I bought it December of 2023. December of 2023. And I have kept this camera in good quality. And one of the reasons why it has maintained itself is because I keep this cover over my DJI to protect that gimbal. And when I tell you smooth video, you get some smooth video from that DJI because it has that gimbal on it. If you have any questions, just go ahead and type those in the comments, and I'll answer those questions towards the end. Now, after I got into the whole DJI ecosystem, I decided that, this camera in and of itself is a great camera, but you can't use it in the rain. You can't use it on, really harsh adventures because that gimbal is very fragile. And DJI also makes action cameras. So I went from the phone to mirrorless for podcasting to the Osmo Pocket 3. Take the case off. And I mainly bought this for everyday use, for vlogging, things like that, for travel. And then I decided that, sometimes I want to have a camera for when I'm on adventure, when I am in the water, when I'm maybe doing some type of just activity that having something like this, it's going to break, and it's too fragile, too expensive. So I invested in a DJI Action 5 Pro action camera. Now with these type of cameras, you can take them in the rain, you can take them in the water, you can take them on ATV trips. It can get dirty, it could get wet, it could whatever. It's gonna handle whatever you take it through because it's an action camera. And I invested in this camera, I think this year. I bought this camera this year where I could take this on an adventure. Now, this camera also shoots up to 4K 60, and it's even smaller than the Osmo. I can just hold this in my hand. This is very travel friendly as well. You have a screen on the front and on the back. And I mean, it literally fits in the palm of my hand. And you can capture all of your family type videos, your adventures, vlogs. You can even live stream. You can live stream with all of these cameras, whether it's your phone, DJI, or the action camera. And so I really purchased this for the purpose of adventures, things, underwater adventures, travel safari type adventures. And so this is mainly more for the future when I take that trip to Africa or when I go on some type of scuba diving, or because I always like to do things that are active and that keeps me, on my toes. So that's a great camera when you're on adventure. So it's called an action camera. There are various brands, but I love the DJI products like I love Apple. So DJI and Apple are near and dear when it comes to me buying equipment. There's one more camera that I've invested in, and I think I bought this year. And this camera is for the purposes of getting different types of POV, point of view. This camera is something that it can follow you. It can grab just those types of shots that you can't personally get yourself. It can get your aerial shots. It can get, these fun type of 360 type of shots. And that is, I have the DJI Neo, which is a drone, very small Neo drone. So if you've seen some of my videos, you'll notice that I have a few videos with the drone. And the great thing about the drone, like I said, is that you can get those aerial type of views. You can get those 360 type of videos. It can follow you. So if you're on a walk or on a run, this type of video camera can capture that type of stuff. This is also good for adventure, but this is more of an entry-level drone, very lightweight. And so you really are not supposed to fly this over water or in water. But any other type of things, like I've taken it on my walks, I've taken it on the track, on my runs, it follows me. And once you get a little bit more sophisticated with it, you'll learn how to get your audio connected to it so that you can have these aerial views, but yet you're also using your mic to capture the video. And so that's what I wanted to share with you today, was just the different types of cameras that I use in order to capture content. And I didn't buy all of these things all at once. I've been in business since 2014, and I've just kind of acquired these pieces of equipment throughout the years. We also talk maybe a little bit later. I'll maybe do lives for camera gear and equipment, but we'll also talk about a little bit later lighting. We'll talk about audio. We'll talk about other various things that I use in order to capture content. But I wanted to make sure that I remained consistent with my Vlogmas. I have uploaded videos every single day for the first week. We're going into the second week of December. I am participating in Vlogmas 2025. So if you have any questions, feel free to type those in the comments. Thank you for joining me tonight for this live, both on YouTube and on Facebook, me sharing my camera gear. And let's just run through that real quick again. So first, we have, you don't have to have anything fancy. Just use your phone. But you want to make sure that you have plenty of storage space on that phone. You want to make sure that you're using the back camera when you're recording content. Unless lighting is really good, then, use the front camera. But typically, I always advise for you to use the back camera. After I graduated from the phone, I invested in the mirrorless cameras. This is a Sony ZV-E10. And I mainly invested in that type of camera for my podcast. But you can also vlog with mirrorless cameras. A lot of vloggers vlog with mirrorless cameras, and they podcast with mirrorless cameras. I actually have two. So I'm using one right now as we are talking right now. Then I graduated to something more lightweight that I could use every day, something I could use for travel and vlogging, the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, very small camera that's on a gimbal. I love this camera. This is my favorite camera. This probably is my favorite investment when it comes to camera gear and investing in myself. And it comes on a gimbal, and that gimbal gives you that smooth video. And like I said, it shoots up to 4K 60, maybe 4K 120 as well. So yeah, that is one of the, and then action cameras. That is a great investment as well. So I went from Osmo Pocket to investing in an action camera so that I can have something when I'm on those adventures. This can get wet. You can have it in the rain. You can take it underwater, mud. You can drop it. Nothing's going to happen to it. Nothing's going to happen to it. And then my final investment, as of right now, has been the DJI drone. So you can find all of these in my Amazon store. Those of you who are on YouTube, all you have to do is click the link in the description and you'll find those things in my Amazon store. So this was successful. I did a live for Vlogmas, and I'm excited. I'm excited that we're on day number 8 and we've had a video every single day. If you have any questions, type those in the comments. And if I don't get to them live, then we will get back to you via comments in the comment section to answer your questions. But definitely want to come on and share with you tonight during Vlogmas, share with you the various types of camera gear that I use in order to capture content. And if you are Gen Xer, 40 plus, and you've been thinking about getting into content creation, now is the time. You have the experience, you have the life experience, job experience, that many people are seeking and looking for, that you can provide value to. And so I hope that this was helpful for you. If once again, you can email me or send me any questions by going to markeith@markeithbrayton.com, or simply add your comments to the comment section and we will get back to you. We got it. We're doing it every single day. Vlogmas 2025. But until next time, just remember this: always shoot for the top, because it's the bottom that's overcrowded. Take care. Peace.